Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy MidPokeMaster here today with my UBL Season 6 draft analysis for your Kentucky Torracats. So, before we get any further, don't forget to like and subscribe and click that bell in the top right corner if you want a notification whenever I upload. Around 60 to 70% of the people that watch my videos are currently not subscribed, so please make sure to subscribe as it shows massive support to the channel. So, we are here for our final draft analysis for these last few leagues that we joined. We're in the APA Academy, the PMU, NCP, UPBA, and now the UBL. So this is the last draft analysis you're going to see for a while, as all the 5 leagues I'm in are currently going on. So UBL is a league I've been watching since season 2 when A-Drive was in it, and ever since then I've just wanted to be in it. It's just a league that when I first started out recording, it was like this was like the dream league, that I made it. So obviously I'm here, so I'm very happy. I think we have a very good team. There's a very good roster, and I'm super excited to see how the season goes. So this is like the BBR format. We get 1100 points for 11 mons. It's kind of like how BBR did. We kind of stole this from them. Our tiering from them, plus NCP did it one season, so that's just where we got it. Obviously didn't make it of ourselves, but we are here. So this is tiering that we're familiar with. So I actually got 5th pick out of 14 people, so we actually got a mon that we desperately wanted. So looking at what's banned was kind of shocking. Like, what all was banned that I thought was shocked. Mew was banned, which is understandable, but I feel like in 14-man, it's not ban worthy. Then I know Zygarde 50 was banned, which I don't think it should be banned, even though I'm loving it in NCP. I don't think it's ban worthy. And then Urshifu Single Strike, where I've seen there's been a lot of debate recently whether if it should be banned or not. Personally, I don't think so, but it meant we didn't get a super broken round 1 pick that otherwise we could have with those 3 mons being allowed. So we got a mon that I don't think I've used since the IBLD League, if I'm being honest. I don't think I've used it once since then. And we got Garchomp. Garchomp is a dragon ground type that it's just very offensively. It's just very offensive while also being defensive. It can do a multitude of things. It does get Scale Shot now, so if I'm SD Scale Shot, I can just basically just cheaper Dragon Dance, but with damage. So this mon can just tear through teams. It can be a revenge killer. It's a good stealth rocker, good physically defensive wall. Rough Skin's very nice for if mons take, hit me physically with physical moves. They can't hit me super, they're going to take their damage. So, and it's 2 timings that you always want on a team. Dragon types are just always known for being offensive threats that your opponents have very little switch-ins to. And ground typing is always something you want so you don't auto lose to, Volt Switch or, like a Tapu Koko with Thunderbolt. So Garchomp's a mon that I haven't used in forever, but with the Scale Shot being, added onto its moveset, I think it's very good. And as I said, it can run a multitude of sets. So this mon is something I'm not super comfortable with, but I feel like I can make it work. So also want to shout out to Jesse Vowel. He also helped me with this draft like he has been with everything else. So please make sure to go check him down below in the description. Great dude, one of my closest friends in the community. And make sure to comment garbage collector in all of his videos. So Garchomp, isn't, unrealistic to be a round 1 pick. It's 200 points. So that's also very expensive. So usually once you grab like a 200 point mon, you want to get something a little bit cheaper so you don't waste all your points at the start. But that did not happen with me because I got Melmetal. Melmetal is back. I've had it basically in at least 1 league ever since it's come out. So had it in BBR last season, had it in BBL Showdown the season before, and it had it in APA Academy as a Gigantamax. So Melmetal's, a mon that I'm super comfortable with. I know how it works. I know its flaws. I know what works with it and what doesn't, what it loses to guaranteed. So I feel like Garchomp Melmetal was a very good pairing because Garchomp does not care about the the fire types that Melmetal struggles with, or the steel types that Melmetal, struggles to break sometimes if I don't want to lock into EQ. And Melmetal can deal with the ice types that Garchomp desperately doesn't want to deal with. So I feel like they had a very good defensive pairing, while, they can defensively take the hits that the other mon doesn't want to take and offensively beat them. But Melmetal has kind of had a fall from grace since, the beginning of Sword and Shield. At the beginning, you know, it was like a round one pick one mon to a lot of people. You know, you would just throw on a choice band, click double iron bash, and just claim your kills and win games. But it's had a fall from grace ever since the Crown Tundra came out, you know, where all these legendaries, these bulky legendaries have come back. So it still hits super hard, but there's just more mons that can offensively and defensively pressure it. But this mon can do more than just, you know, choice band double iron bash. It can be sub-toxic protect, even though I know most people that watch Wi-Fi battles hate that set. It's a viable set. If it's going to help you win the game, who cares? It's viable. It, you know, can just be straight offensive with choice band. It can be iron defense, body press, rest, sleep talk, you know, making it to my opponents. Like if they have a physical team, I can just have an iron defense and just, you know, make it to where they can't kill me. And it just has a lot of coverage. It's a great assault vest user. You know, your opponents bring in a special mon and they think they can just one-shot you or do lots of damage, but then you take less than half because you have an assault vest and you kill their mon. So Memorable is the mon just I'm super comfortable with. It's something I've always done well with. It didn't do very well for me in BBR, but it was a great wall breaker in there. It didn't get many kills, but it broke down mons, you know, for, you know, a few Palisade endgames, a Sylveon endgame, a Salamence endgame, obviously. So Metal, you know, it's just the one I'm super comfortable with. I know how to use it. I know how to use it well. And it's just a comfort pick because whenever you're in a league, you always want to try to get a few mons that you haven't used before and then a few mons that you're comfortable with or know how to use. Just so you know, you don't want to have a team full of new mons you don't know how to use and then, you know, not like your team because you can't use it. So, yeah, so next pick I got was Sylveon. I finished my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. This is basically my BBR Fairy Dragon Steel Core, except I had Salamence over Garchomp. But I think I'm going to like Garchomp a little bit more just because of that speed tier. That 102 speed tier is a lot nicer. But obviously Sylveon's a mon I'm comfortable with. I've had it multiple times throughout the gen between APA Academy and BBR Season 3. So Sylveon's just, you know, especially offensive threat while it's also being bulky and has good wish pass that Garchomp and Melmetal both like. Because, you know, those ones don't have reliable recovery, so wish from Sylveon obviously keeps them healed up and it's just very nice. It's a hard mon to switch into. I believe it's like base 110 special attack. Coming off, you know, a Choice Specs Pixelate Hyper Voice just doesn't have any switch-ins. Its few switch-ins are like steel types and poison types, but I can always just baton pass into my Garchomp that really doesn't care about either of those and just click EQ. So Sylveon's just a mon that, you know, forces so much. Your opponent has swing ways of offensively killing it while having defensive ways of, you know, not just losing to it. But Sylveon can do whatever it needs to get past those. It does have Mystical Fire now, so it can hit steel types on the switch in. So Sylveon's the one that I just love, and I'm really want to use it again. I don't believe I used it to its fullest in BBR Season 3. So, you know, I really think I can do it again here. Maybe. You'll see why I say maybe later on. So Sylveon's just kind of Sylveon's a very good mon, but it's, you know, kind of going down in usage just because there's so many better fairy types now. But Sylveon is just one of my favorites. I could have got Clefable in this spot, I believe. I know I talked to somebody about getting Clefable around here, but no, Clefable was gone, but I talked to 504 about getting it. But I just like Sylveon more because I just like the immediate offense, you know, offensive pressure gives off. So next up, we have Slowking, a mon that I've never drafted in my 3 or 4 years of draft. It's a bulky water and psychic type with the regenerator. You know, it's just incredibly bulky. It gets access to teleport now. Well, I mean, it always has, but now it's actually usable. So teleport, you know, super nice. Slow initiative. You know, I take damage. I switch out. You know, get my regenerator boost and my health, and then come back in with like a Garchomp or Melmetal and just claim a kill. It's a water type that I've never used because I think obviously Slowbro is better. There's just no debate to it. I've been watching Vepsis use Slowbro, so it kind of made me want to use Slowking in a way, just because it's that bulky water and psychic type that your opponents have trouble killing. They're gonna have to toxic it. It can heal up reliably with Slack Out or Slack Off. I mean, you know, heal up 50%. And it has good coverage between, you know, Future Sight, Psychic, Scald, Surf. You know, Fire Blast hit the steel types. I feel like it gets other coverage moves that I'm just not thinking of. But this mon can just put in a lot of offensive work while holding an assault vest and just defensively taking a lot of hits that your opponents don't want to really deal with. So it's kind of a low tier threat, you know, it's 120 points. I think that's a little too much, but I think it's fine. It just means that for 7 picks we only have 440 points, which you will see how that affects us later on. But Slowking is just a mon I've literally never tried before and I'm super excited to use. It's just very defensive while also being offensive. and can literally just force kills. You know, it forces a lot of prep and play just because Future Sight, you know, it hits my opponent like 2 or 3 turns later. I don't remember which. And if they don't remember about it and they don't switch in like a dark type or their own psychic type, another mon's about to take a lot of damage coming off a base 100, you know, special attack. So next up, I got Salazar. I have this in APA Academy, but I believe I drafted it here first. So Salazar is a poison and fire type that's just very offensive. You know, it gives me a speed tier above Garchomp, so Garchomp isn't my fastest mon, which is very nice. But this mon just has very few switch-ins. Like, his best switch-ins are water types, but this team kind of struggles with, but I patch up pretty well later on, I believe. So, but Salazar just hits super hard. Grass and fire just hits a lot of teams super hard. You know, my team kind of struggles with breaking grass types right now, and Salazar breaks them perfectly. It doesn't want to switch into EQ, but between Garchomp, you know, Garchomp and Slowking can take almost any EQ very well. So, I'm not too worried about that, and I can always get it, and I can always just get in against ones that it offensively pressures and scares out. Can always be sub-toxic, protect an amazing Salazar set. You know, just force my opponent to take toxic damage, you know, come in with their check or their defensive mon. And either just will it down for a Garchomp end game or like make it easier for Melmetal to break. So I can always be nasty plot, you know, Sludge Wave, Fire Blast, you know, Dragon Pulse, and just claim kills too. So this one just puts on so much offensive pressure, and I'm super excited to use it. I remember the first time I used it, I didn't really like it. I felt like it was too passive, even with the base 1 level 111 special attack. I just feel like in Galar decks it just really shines, especially when my team, you know, really does appreciate, you know, a special wall breaker. Like, I do have Sylveon Slowking, but Salazar is a great wall breaker with the Life Orb. So next up, we got Miltank. So far, I didn't really deal with grass types, as I was saying before, and Miltank gives me a great way of dealing with that. Also gives me a thick fat user for, you know, making to where I'm pretty resistant to Garchomp, Melmetal, you know, ice and fire weakness. So super nice. It gives me a reliable rocker, so Garchomp doesn't have to run it every week. Base 100 speed tier, and it's a normal type, so it gives me a ghost immunity. And my team really doesn't care about they find a weakness between Sylveon, Slowking, Salazar. So I just feel like Miltank was literally a perfect pick on this draft. I love Miltank. It's a great rocker. You know, has so much coverage. Has Scrappy to hit ghost types, so I want to just spam Seismic Toss or Body Slam. And Miltank, you know, it's not going to do much. It's going to come in, you know, set up Stealth Rocks. It's going to set up Stealth Rocks, you know, it's going to Melt Ring up. Heal Bell gives me a, you know, like a, I can't even think what it's called, like a, I don't know what it's called. Like a Cleric, that's what it is, it's a Cleric. You can also just spread Toxics and Thunder Waves around, so this one's just very fat and annoying, and I've used it before, I love it, so I think I can use it very well. So, next up, we have Boots the Tangela. I needed a defensive grass type because Salazar is just not a defensive grass type, and Miltank doesn't want to come to every game. So between, you know, 2 decent mods that can come to every game by themselves, you know, between the 2 of them, Miltank and Tangela, I don't struggle with grass types as much anymore. You know, just gives me a bulky regenerator core between this and Slowking. You know, I'm still very defensive, and paired with the EV Light is very nice. I get almost all the same coverage Tangrowth does. Between Sleep Powder, Power Whip, Knockoff, Sludge Bomb, you name it, it probably gets it. So Tangela for 60 points I feel like was a steal. I feel like it just defensively takes so many hits that you wouldn't expect it to. It can deal with ground types very well, which my team kind of struggles with at this point, and it's most teams I draft, you know, pretty much struggle with ground types. So I just feel like Tangela was a very good pick here. Now, as I said before, very defensive, and it can be passive, but you know, it has the coverage to make it to where it's not passive. I can hit on the physical or special side. I can always throw off a Toxic, a Stun Spore, a Leech Seed, whatever I feel like is necessary that match. So next up, Rotom Fan, you know, base 86 mon, gives me a Volt Switch user, gives me a Defogger. I'm pretty sure it's my only removal so far, which is not very good. It's a Rotom Fan. But my team isn't weak to hazards per se. Like, Spike Stack is annoying. I'm not too weak to Stealth Rocks between, you know, Garchomp, Melmetal, not caring about rocks, and having a Ground Up Poison and Salazar that I can bring every week. So really it's only Spikes, and Rotom Fan can defog those away. It has a multitude of sets to run. It can be defensive with like Willow, Volt Switch, you know, Air Slash, Pain Split. You know, I can just be Nasty Plot, Thunderbolt, Air Slash, you know, 4th move. Or I can just be Scarf, Trick, Volt Switch, you know. Rotom Fan, you know, just kind of does the same things, but, you know, it can be defensive, it can be offensive. It's very hard to switch into this mon. as you know, the mons that want to switch into Volt Switch are either your ground types or your grass types. And this Rotom fan can hit grass types super hard, so I'm not too worried about that. Ground types, you know, it obviously struggles with, but I feel like my team can deal with those very well. So I just felt like Rotom fan was a nice pick here for 40 points. It does, you know, it does a lot for a 40-point mon, and I just felt like it was very good value considering how top heavy my team was at points wise. So next up, we got Scrappy. According to everybody besides Shuckle King, you need a dark type so you don't lose to bulky psychic types, and you just need one. I've seen too many people lose to, you know, just Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Sword Power, you know, healing move, psychic types just because they don't have a dark type and can't beat it. And Scrappy can, you know, beat those sets just fine. You know, it can be very bulky with an Assault Vest, with Intimidate, you know, it's a lot of coverage between Close Combat, Drain Punch, Knockoff, you know, Ice Punch, Poison Jab, whatever mon you need to hit super effectively, it can hit. So Scrappy just hits so hard. And while being able to take those defensive hits, can be physically defensive, especially defensive. Set up a sweeper with like Bulk Up, Rest Talk, Knockoff. Or, you know, just be a Dragon Dance sweeper if my opponent has like a very slow team. I can set up a Dragon Dance or two and just claim kills and wins. And it can be a Moxie sweeper if I get those Dragon Dance up, so it's just a very nice mon that just hits super hard. Next up, I have another Fairy in Comfey. At this point, I've realized I needed hazard removal, and Comfey is a decent defogger, so at some point I might be dropping Sylveon, as I've used Sylveon a multitude of times and I haven't used Comfey. And I feel like Comfey just fits better on this team. You know, I might keep both of them just because Double Fairy isn't terrible, but Comfey does give me a priority user that on a team that really doesn't have priority. Like, my priority is like Fake Out Scrappy, which isn't very good, so Comfey is just a bulky fairy, but that can also just set up games and wins by itself. You know, Calm Mind, Sword Power, Draining Kiss, Synthesis, or like Giga Drain or Leech Seed can also, you know, just be like fat, annoying, draining, like D-Gleam, U-Turn, you know, Defog, Leech Seed, just be very annoying like that. So Comfey's a mon that I've seen just sweep people by itself. You know, it's very hard to kill, because once you get a few Calm Minds up, you have priority healing move and Draining Kiss that does damage. So it makes it harder for your opponent to kill you if you're set up. So Comfey's just one I seriously have wanted to try for a long time, and I think it fit well on this team. So I might be dropping Sylveon. You'll see that eventually if I do. So, and finally, I have 20-point Charger Bug. This mon goes beep beep. It's not the greatest mon, but my boy Lux loves Charger Bug, so, you know, I had to draft it for him. Gives me, you know, I had to get him on to 20 points, and this was obviously the best one. Gives me a Sticky Web user, and that's pretty much it. That you can Volt Switch out Garchomp, and, you know, Salazar will really appreciate webs. Obviously, I don't have to bring it every week, but it's one of the few low tier, you know, Sticky Web setters that doesn't, you know, just kind of auto lose to everything and lets them on come in and set it for free. So I felt like Charger Bug was just, you know, a nice pick on this in this round for 20 points. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave down below in the comments on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst team ever to 10 being the best team ever. What do you think? How do you think I'm going to do this season? What do you rank my team? I believe this is it's a 9-week season, so we're going to go 9-0, or we're going to be 1-8. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.